Thank you all for joining us here at PD in Your Pocket. My name is Fiona and I'm going to be presenting this evening. We're going to be talking about singing, and we're not only going to be talking about it, but we're also going to be doing it. So before we get into the content of what I wanted to cover this evening, I think it's very important for me to acknowledge that I'm coming to you here from Gadigal country. I'm in southwest Sydney. So I would love it if you would pop in the chat what country you're on here tonight and where you're joining us from. It would be really cool to know where we're all coming from. If you put what country you're on and perhaps just the name of where you are, so we can learn the different countries around New South Wales. I'm sure we're not all across all of them. So let me see what's happening there. I've got Darug country, Biripi country, Naarm, Melbourne. Beautiful. Wiradjuri country, fantastic. All over New South Wales, Darugland, and outside New South Wales too, perfect. Okay, well, welcome to you all. I would like to formally acknowledge that I'm coming to you from Gadigal land. Pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded, and this always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Of course, Aboriginal communities have a history of caring for children on this land for, let's say, is it 60,000 years? Tens of thousands of years. And I think, interestingly, First Nations people around the world also seem to have more of a culture of singing, coming together and sharing their voices. And we seem to have lost that to a degree in our modern, urban, developed world. So one of the things I like to do, or one of my, I guess, purposes, one of my missions is to help people reconnect and to bring back that practice of singing together in different contexts. And that's something we're going to talk about tonight in the context of early childhood and family daycare. Excuse me. Yeah. So let me just introduce myself formally. I am Fiona Maria. I am a singing facilitator. So you may well be thinking, well, what is that, right? What's a singing facilitator? It's different to a singing teacher. What I do is I bring people together in different contexts, regardless of age or demographic or job title or whatever that may be. And I help them to befriend their voice, their natural voice that we all have, our innate voice. And I firmly believe, or I don't believe, I know, we should be singing through our lives. That's at all stages of our life, from our babyhood through our childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and into our senior years. Singing is something that is an innately human experience. And you may see on screen some familiar faces from where, not that long ago, I visited the Inner West Family Daycare folks. And we had a little session where we talked about the importance of singing, and we did some singing. And that's what we're going to do this evening. So what I'm going to share with you is two things. One is some information. Some of this will be new to you. Some of it might be a little bit of a reminder of some of the things you may have come across elsewhere. So some information and also an experience of singing, okay? Because it's one thing just to talk about singing, but talking is overrated. What we want to do is do the singing, right? And the reason I'm bringing you this experience tonight is, again, twofold. The firstly is, of course, so you can use it in your work as a family daycare educator, and you can use it with the children in your care. But also the second reason is so you can use it for yourself and for your families, your communities, and other groups and networks that you're part of. So, this is what we're covering. We're going to look at why humans sing and why that's important. We're going to look at how singing helps us. And then we're going to deep dive into the benefits of singing in the early childhood period in particular. And throughout this session, I'm going to sprinkle in some examples and some ideas of how to sing more with children, with the children in your family daycare. And I would love to share whatever we can do given the limitations of Zoom. So, of course, here in the Zoom room, all you beautiful people are on mute. And I can't hear you. I hope you can hear me. And you can't hear each other. So for singing, on one hand, that's a disadvantage, but on the other hand, it's a huge advantage. And it's particularly for people who are not that confident singers. For you to be able to take some time to play with your voice and explore your voice where no one else can hear you, that is actually a really great opportunity. So let's make the best of this evening. As I said, given the context of the Zoom room that we're in, and see how much fun we can have here this evening. Now, when you registered for the webinar, we did ask some questions about singing. So first I'm going to go through those and see what's the sort of lay of the land in terms of singing in family daycare. So the first question we asked was, how often do you sing with children? And a whole lot of you always do, and a nice part of you sometimes do. Now, we didn't actually define what is always and what is sometimes, but I'm going to guess always is every day, and sometimes is maybe, every couple of days, a few times a week, maybe. And it was so heartwarming to see that no one here said never. Also, I thought this question was quite open because it's sing with children. It's not just the children in your family daycare, of course. It could be your own children or children in your extended family. So that question was slightly open-ended in that way. Do you sing to help calm children? Yes, 89% of you, go you, and 11% not. So hopefully at the end of the webinar we'll get people on board to use singing as a calming tool, not just for children, but actually for ourselves when we need it. So more on that later. How confident are you making up new songs to share with children? And we had 38% say very. That's lovely. Half, just over half, somewhat. That's good. Somewhat's good enough. And 9% not at all. So again, hopefully by the end of this session, we'll have everyone on board with some confidence to make up songs. Again, perhaps the wording of the question was a little bit misleading, because what's a song, right? What is a song? And maybe we think a song is a bigger thing than it really is. But it's great to see people being creative with their voices. And this question is very close to my heart. How often do you sing outside of your work role, outside of your work as a family daycare educator? So this was more evenly spread. Every day, love it. Often, yes. Occasionally, and a few people again, never. So we're going to try and change the colours on that pie chart by the end of this session so that everyone's confident to sing outside of their work role as well as within it. Those of you who sing outside of work, I'm just going to open the chat so I can see. My whole life is an opera. Mine too. Tell me, if you're singing outside of your role as a family daycare educator, I'm just curious, where are you singing? Where are you singing outside of work? In the shower, in the car, in church, yes. While washing dishes, perfect. In the kitchen, in the car, in the shower, yes. Lovely, yeah. Yes, the car and the shower are great places to sing, without a doubt. Okay, I'm going to go back and read the chat because I know you guys have some fantastic comments. I love getting these little windows into what's going on with you outside of family daycare as well. So the first thing I'm going to tell you all, and I think you all know this, but I'm going to remind you the importance of filling our own cup first. And this is, again, not just in our role as family daycare educators, but just in order to cope with life, we must fill our own cup first. We must put on our own oxygen mask before we attend to that of the children that are with us. So give me a quick idea. Who's doing some sort of self-care every day, and what is it? What sort of things are we doing to fill our cup each day beyond work and responsibilities? Morning walk, reading, love it. Reading, yes. I read at night. Oh, the gym. Yep. Coffee break, music, meditation. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, please don't neglect that. I am going to put in a nice, big vote for singing as a really accessible way to fill your cup. Singing is an easy and accessible way to pause, reconnect with self. And of course, singing can be done, like we can be multitasking and singing, right? Someone was singing while they're washing the dishes, unstacking the dishwasher, making dinner. And if singing is a step too far, humming, I can't tell you how beneficial humming is. So please embrace both your singing voice and humming. I hum in Woolworths, like when I'm overwhelmed, I just get some humming going to calm myself. So what we are going to do first and foremost, before we get into more information, it is Tuesday night, it's a winter night. We've all had a big day working and all our other responsibilities. So we're going to relax into singing, and I urge you to join in now, unless I can't see you. So I'm going to assume that you're joining in with me, and I'm not doing this by myself. So don't let me down, folks. First thing we're going to do is just have a nice stretch. So can we just do some hands up like this and bring it down with a nice sigh. We can do that again. Hands up, reset, and a sigh. Little bit of humming. Breathe in through your nose, into your belly, okay? Not into your chest, not like this, not like that. Into your belly, and we're going to let it out on a hum. It's going to look like this. You can close your eyes if you like. Once more, our hum is going to go up and down like a siren this time, wherever you want to take it. Breath in. And we're going, Now, I want to share with you a couple of what they call musical mantras. And a mantra is not even a song. It's not even that complicated. It's just a phrase that's repeated. So mantras can be chanted, and chanting is a part of many spiritual traditions around the world. But when you put a melody to it, it's a very simple way for your brain to feel very safe and relaxed. So I'm going to share you one of my favourite musical mantras. This is just something I made up, and you can make up your own, and I hope you do. And you can share these with kids, make up musical mantras for the children that you're working with, something that resonates in that moment or with them. So this one says, in this moment, everything is fine. Everything is fine in this moment. I hope you will join me. In this moment, everything is fine. fine in this moment. And you can just sing that on repeat, round and round. And the more you repeat it, simplicity and repetition are the key for allowing our brains to feel safe. So, now that we've refreshed our brain, stretched, relaxed a bit, let's get into it. So the first question, why do humans sing? So from an evolutionary perspective, there's three purposes to singing. The first one is to bond, to bring groups of people together. And if you think about early humans, that was actually a survival mechanism. So by singing together, groups felt more bonded. And this is due to the fact that when we sing, we release hormones into our bloodstream. And one of those hormones is oxytocin. And oxytocin is the love hormone and the trust hormone. So that release of oxytocin means we feel connected to the people that we're singing with. And once we feel connected to people, then we trust them and we're prepared to go an extra mile for them, right? We're prepared to look out for them. And in this way, singing was actually a survival mechanism for early humans. The second reason we sing is to regulate our emotions, self-regulation. Singing lowers the amount of cortisol in our system, the stress hormone. So by singing or humming, we can lower stress and regulate our moods. And the third reason is emotional expression. I'm sure you would have had the experience where a song or a piece of music expresses emotions much more effectively than words, than spoken words. So that is, in a nutshell, why humans sing. Singing is our first language. Singing is a fundamental part of the human experience. So it's not an optional thing. It's not like, oh yeah, it's quite fun to sing sometimes, but it doesn't really matter. It really matters. There is not a human population on Earth that doesn't have singing in their culture somehow. So this gives you an idea of how key it is to our human experience. We've had the capacity for singing, again, we don't know exactly, but based on the fossil record, it looks like around 300,000 years of humans coming together and singing. That's a long time. That's like 15,000 generations of human existence. And it's only in about the last maybe 100 years, so that's maybe 5 generations since the advent of recorded music, that then we get this baggage about I'm not a good singer, you know, I'm tone deaf, and all this kind of judgment comes into our what we think about our singing voices. So early humans, obviously we were singing before we could speak, right? We were singing before we had formal language. And similarly, children sing before, obviously, before they have formal language, right? You've all seen it. We've seen it with our own children. You see it in the children that you're working with. Children play with their voices. It's a toy to discover, what can this toy that I have, what can this instrument inside me do? And they are using their voice in a sing-song kind of a way, playing with it, well before they start getting into spoken, structured language. And interestingly, I think it's interesting, once humans developed spoken language, we didn't leave singing behind. We didn't stop singing, go, oh, we don't need to do that anymore because now we can speak. We've still kept singing as a very, as I said, a very important part of human cultures. So one of my favourite little catchphrases is to remind everyone that all children sing until they're told not to. And as a singing facilitator working with adults and children, but I work with adults who've had something said to them about their singing voice as a child and have carried that their whole life to adulthood. or sometimes through, through, people can carry it their whole life and never undo that. So let's really be careful in our language, and let's understand, the importance of letting our voices flow freely. And just quickly, what actually physically happens in our body when we sing? So we mentioned earlier there's the hormones released, all the feel-good hormones, the happy hormones. So we've got oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine. These all make us feel good. These boost our mood. Cortisol is dropped. When we breathe, we need to, when we sing, we need to breathe in a deep, controlled manner. And deep breathing in and of itself is an anti-anxiety tool, right? When a group of people sing together, their heartbeats synchronize. And if we're singing the way humans traditionally have, with no songbooks or sheet music, but normally we're singing, we make eye contact with the people we're singing with, and that fires our mirror neurons. And the firing of mirror neurons is a very important part of developing empathy. And despite what might be said around the place sometimes these days, empathy is actually a really very important part of being human too. So we do want to encourage anything that helps foster empathy. So I want to just very quickly address a couple of misconceptions about our singing voices. So if you can talk, you can sing, yes? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you would agree with that. If you can talk, you can sing. Yes, yes. Amen. Yes. They'll feel good on you. Now, I have noticed that people who are drawn to working with children often sort of self-select to have to be a little more creative, a little more comfortable expressing their creativity in different ways, including using their singing voice. But across the general population, there's still a lot of baggage and judgment about our singing voices. Singing is a skill like any other that improves with practice, encouragement, and opportunity. Studies show that infants respond better to an untrained natural singing voice rather than highly technical voices or recordings of voices. So as you can see in the photo there on screen, an adult singing directly to an infant elicits the most positive response from those infants, and that kind of makes sense again from an evolutionary point of view. So some people will say they are tone deaf. I don't know if anyone you know has ever said, "Oh, I can't sing, I'm tone deaf." I want to put the record straight. Tone deafness, or the correct term is amusia. Amusia affects a very small proportion of the population, perhaps 1%. And that means, amusia means you can't hear the difference between two notes. So if you can tell the difference between Happy Birthday and Jingle Bells, you're not tone deaf, right? It just means you haven't had the practice, encouragement and opportunity to develop the ability to pitch notes, and that can be learnt. All what we're seeing on screen, all that musical notation and musical jargon is a very, very recent development in human musicality, and is not at all necessary to be musical and to be a singer. So if anyone's feeling hesitant about their abilities, I urge you to embrace your natural, innate singing voice and don't be shy. Okay. So I want to share with you a beautiful lullaby, and you can take this away and use it wherever you would like to. Now, again, with the limitations of Zoom, I am going to imagine all your beautiful voices. I would only say, only if you're driving maybe. I don't know if anyone's listening to this on their phone while they're driving. That might be an out. But otherwise, if you're sitting in front of your laptop, your phone, or your desktop somewhere, no excuses not to join in with Sula Lula. Sula Lula is just a calming words like shush shush shush. It's doesn't have any meaning. And Bjornir is bears, as in bear, you know, the animal. But what it means in this context is like little bear, like little, you know, my little bear, like a term of endearment. So I'm going to sing it, and you hang on, I've got to open the chat so I can see. If I sing it, will you sing it back to me? Yes? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, good. Sure, absolutely. Love it. Okay. Because, you know, I don't mind singing on my own, but like it's more fun seeing as how we're all here together, right? Okay. I'll sing it, you sing it back to me. Hang on, let me pitch it. Su, la, lula. Your turn. La, lula. Lula, lula. Your turn. Lula, lula. We're going to put those two together. 3, 4. Sula, lula, lula, lula. Listen. Sula, lula. Your turn. Sula, lula. Björne, björne. Let's put all that together and see how we go. Starting here. Sula, lula, lula, lula. Sula, lula, björne. Sula, lula, lula, lula. Sula, lula, björne. I did slightly trick you because I sang the harmony for the second part. How did we go with Sula Lula? Did we get it, or are we completely lost? Let me just see. How did we get Sula Lula? We got it? We got it? Okay, so of course you can search up Sula Lula on different platforms. It is a 3-part harmony, but we don't have time to go there tonight. But oh, thank you. It is beautiful. I'm sure you all sounded beautiful too. I wish I could have heard you. We'll work that out next time. Yeah, Mama Lisa. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Thank you. I got it. Yep. You can listen back and you know, revisit any gaps. But I think we'll keep going because, as I said, Zoom is not the perfect platform to do group singing. But I just wanted to give you a taste of a really beautiful song. Excuse me. So moving on from, you know, that general introduction to singing, let's look at this window of opportunity, which is early childhood. That's what we're here for, right? So I'm going to say, honestly, the reasons why singing is good for children are the same reasons that it's good for you, that it's good for adults. Singing is just good for humans regardless of what age you are, and singing benefits us at any age. Okay, having said that, early childhood is a window of opportunity where the benefits of singing are turbocharged because of the amount of brain development that is going on at that age, the amount of neural connections that are being made, and the synapse pruning is going on. So there's just so much development happening that singing at this point in a child's life really does set them up to do well through the rest of their life. As I said, I work with adults who have missed out on a lifetime of singing. So we don't want that to happen with the kids in our care, right? So in broad brushstrokes, singing benefits children's cognitive development, their emotional development, and their social development. They're the three umbrella areas that we're going to talk about. So there's been a lot of studies done. There's been a lot of studies done about the benefits of singing across different ages. And then there's been a lot of studies done about singing and music making for preschool age children and indeed school age children. Some of those studies have kind of lumped music making and singing in together and not differentiated, those two activities. I mean, let's be honest, there simply isn't the research budget in research institutions to do all the studies we would like them to do. So a couple of the studies that I'm referring to, and also the links in the booklet that you have that accompanies this webinar. Some of those studies refer to singing and music making as the activity that was monitored in the study. So, having said that, singing has been proven to boost, it's particularly noticeable with children's language development, and I guess that's not surprising. Language, literacy, but interestingly, even numeracy skills are positively affected by early childhood singing and music making. So one of the many studies is an Australian study, the associations between early shared music activities in the home and later childhood outcomes. And what this one showed was that children between the ages of 2 and 3 who had regular shared music making, including singing, so regular, shared, those are the two important words, they were much more school ready at the age of 5 or 6 across language, literacy, and even numeracy, across social skills as well. So how does singing benefit literacy particularly? Well, singing exposes children obviously to new words, phrases, grammatical constructions and meanings. We sing about things that we don't normally talk about. So, and we sing in a poetic language, don't we? Singing can be, not always, but can be quite poetic. Being able to break words down. So when we sing, let's give an example. Even something simple like twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. We are breaking this word down into what we as adults call syllables, but children don't know about syllables. They just need to understand that words can be broken down. We can have wonder is two bits, and that's self-evident for us, but it's not when you're as a child who's pre-literate and pre-language. That's not self-evident. One thing I love about particularly the nursery rhymes and the older songs, they have such wonderful, they use language in a way that we don't use it anymore, in a quite a interesting, old-fashioned, I guess, way. So even, again, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star says, how I wonder what you are. It doesn't say, Twinkle, twinkle, little star, I wonder what you are. That's how we'd say it if we were speaking. I wonder what you are. How I wonder what you are. It's just a nice, creative way of using language. So again, these studies showed that children were more creative in their use of language. They had broader vocabulary. They had this phonemic awareness of, as I said, breaking words into chunks, pronunciation, and even comprehension. Because, you know, you're singing about something and that provokes, I guess, conversations and questions and an understanding that, you know, the world is a big, amazing place, and there's a lot of subject matter in songs that wouldn't come up in daily conversation and daily activities. So that is a little bit about, oh my mouse, about singing and literacy. And then we can move on to, there we go, singing and cognitive development. Singing and being sung to has been shown to enhance memory, attention, and build neural connections. And interestingly, I think it's interesting, again, this applies to any age. So of course we are talking about children in their, you know, preschool years, but interestingly at the other end of the spectrum, you know, memory enhancement and neural, you know, cognitive development also applies when you're looking at seniors and people who are perhaps moving into like dementia and, you know, that stage of life. Again, singing is a tool that can be used then the same way because it's the same brain processes that are happening. There was a study done in Finland by the University of Helsinki, and that showed that children who sang, I said, or played music regularly had better concentration, retention, and memory when they got to school. So again, singing is a joyful activity to do in and of itself, but it does prepare children for what's to come when they're moving into schooling and formal education. I want to just kind of make a point about, as I said, some of these studies were putting in the same basket, you know, singing and music making as one. Some of the studies have separated those two activities out. But why I'm such a champion for singing is it is accessible to everyone. We are all born with a beautiful living instrument inside our bodies that requires no equipment or training. And that way it's very accessible 24/7. Singing something helps you to remember. So if you put a tune to something, I mean, we can all remember the words to the pop songs from our teenager years, right? And we can all remember weird advertising jingles from when we were kids, right? It logs in your brain. You know, the example is the alphabet song. Young children would never learn 26 random sounds that all sound a bit the same in just a big long list if it didn't have a tune to go with it. If you tried to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, you wouldn't get there. But once you put the tune to it, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc., etc. So by making something musical, you make it easier to remember. So if you want someone to remember your phone number, or you want to remember someone's phone number, put a song to it. You can do 411 613 793, 411 613 793, etc. That's not my phone number, don't worry. I don't know whose phone number that is, so sorry if that's someone on his phone number. But yes, so singing and cognitive development and memory. I want to have a quick look at what the approved learning framework says about singing. So again, the framework doesn't single singing out as a standalone practice, but it does refer to singing as part of rich, responsive and meaningful experiences that support children's learning and development. So singing is, I guess, combined with storytelling, reading, talking to children in ways that encourage and respond to children's attempts to communicate. So I'm going to actually go through the presentation and come back and look at the framework at the end so we can kind of tick off these other boxes. Excuse me. I thought I'd just check in and see how we're going so far. I will definitely channel. Okay, I do this with mine. Nice. Mobile phone numbers to the tune of the Imperial March from Star Wars. I'm going to try that one. Thank you. Okay. So, people said with the questions we had on registration that many of you are singing always or sometimes. So I'm curious, just to give me a quick, if you can, when are you singing? Do you have like a routine for singing, or do you, hang on, I've got to open the chat here. Here we go. You have like a routine where you're always, perhaps, when children arrive, you're singing, or transitions, yep, musical, sleeping time, of course, yes, sleeping time is a good one. Transitions, yep. Pack Away Toys. Oh, I'd love to hear the Pack Away Toys song. Yeah, washing hands, great. Snack time, okay, while playing, yep, transitioning, packing up toys. Oh, I think there's a, I think there's a project we have to assemble all the family daycare packing up toys songs, and maybe we can make like a YouTube playlist, because I would love to hear them. So as you know, in your daily practice, songs are creating routine, predictability, and this means a sense of safety. So when we talk about safety, it's our lizard brain, it's not our developed brain, it's our lizard brain that wants to feel safe, and predictability is a huge part of that sense of safety. So arrivals, transitions, goodbyes, resetting moods, calming, or indeed energizing. Create your own songs or adapt existing tunes. Now, as I said at the top of the session, just make your own song might sound a little intimidating if you're not a confident singer. But I gave you that example of a melodic mantra where it can just be a phrase. It's just one phrase. It doesn't have to be a lot of words and a lot of, complex structure in the song. So children will help you make up songs, and the sillier the better, right? An easy way to sort of move into this idea of making up your own songs or mantras is to use an existing tune. And I think we do this all the time, perhaps without even realizing. So I'm going to use my favorite, which is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, as you know. And, let's all pack the toys away, we'll use them another day. This kind of thing. Whatever comes to mind, it doesn't have to rhyme, okay? Another thing that I found is really fun is to use books or stories as a prompt. So, hang on. So rather than reading a book, just reading it, reading books reading books to children is absolutely fabulous. So don't for a moment think I'm saying you shouldn't be doing that. Absolutely, it's wonderful. But just to mix it up a bit, you can sing a book or parts of a book. And I'm going to look. I've got the Gruffalo here, wonderful Julia Donaldson, one of my kids' favourites when they were that age. We use Let It Go, but is that Let It Go, like Frozen, Let It Go? From Frozen? Yes. Yeah, you're more up with the up to date there, Lil Fee, using Frozen as opposed to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So let me give you a demo with the Gruffalo. Isn't that interesting? I'm assuming you're all seeing that back to front as well, or is it just me? I can never work it out with the camera thing. So rather than read it or read it all, I'm literally making this up on the spot. Right? I don't have a Gruffalo song. No, it's fine. Twinkle when we pick up toys, I love it. Yes, yes. So okay, here's the Gruffalo, and I'm going to sing it to you instead of reading it. Okay, I hope you can see this. How's it going to go? A mouse took a stroll through the deep dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house. It's terribly kind of you, fox, but no, I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo. A Gruffalo, what's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo, why didn't you know? He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. Where are you meeting him? Here by these rocks. His favourite food is roasted fox. Roasted fox, I'm off, fox said. Goodbye, little mouse, and away he sped. Silly old fox, doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo? And even if you don't want to sing the whole book, it's kind of fun to have like a little singing bit. So, silly old fox, doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo? And then we turn the page. Silly old owl, doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo? Etc, etc. I'll leave it to your own devices. What have I got here? Oh my gosh, excuse me. Wonderful Dr. Seuss, who I cannot love enough, even though he's been cancelled a few times lately. And here we go. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star, this one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. Some, etc. Oh my God. I could sing the whole book, but I won't. So does that give you an idea of some of the other prompts that you might have for songs that we like to sing that Dr. Seuss? Yes. Yes. So if you read the same book over and over again, you know, some of these little melodies will become little mantras, you know, little just phrases, musical phrases that you'll then be able to repeat even when you're not reading the book, and they kind of become like memes, you know, of your family daycare. So I guess by using, you know, books and stories as prompts, it moves you again away from the everyday. So whilst it's fabulous to sing about, you know, let's pick up the toys, let's wash our hands, let's say hello, goodbye, you know, it's nice to just sing about, you know, the Gruffalo and all the weird and wonderful things that are in all the fabulous children's books. So I leave you with that idea. Excuse me. Right. So we are going to do some singing. I mean, I've just done some. This is a little welcome song from Kenya called Jambo. Jambo in Swahili is a salutation, which means hello, welcome, and it's a fun little tune. And again, you can insert the child's name into this, or the children in your daycare's names. So this is call and response, and again, I'm just going to assume that you wonderful people are out there in cyberspace are singing back to me, okay? Yes, fabulous. Sing everything. Bread and butter. You just sang bread and butter today. Oh, cool. Okay. I wonder if you sang it the same way I sing it. We could compare. If only we could hear each other on Zoom. So I'm going to sing it. You sing it back to me. All right. Ready? Jumbo, jumbo, jumbo sana jumbo. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you, welcome. Jumbo sana jumbo, jumbo sana jumbo, 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 jumbo sana jumbo. And then we can put, you know, Jumbo Chloe Jumbo, Jumbo Thomas Jumbo, Jumbo Ali Jumbo, Jumbo Lily Jumbo, you know, whatever the names you have in your group. That's just a fun little welcome song. I know you would have some of your own. But yeah, as was commented in the chat group, you know, nice to bring different languages into the space. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Who does this one? Jumbo Lakshmi Jumbo. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just have to say it a little bit quick to fit it in the timing of the song. But you know, song's timing is elastic. You can change the timing of the song if it means getting the child's name right. Child's name, getting the child's name right supersedes getting the timing of the song right. Definitely. Jumbo song. Oh, good. Does anyone do bread and butter? Does anyone do this song? Nope. Okay. So bread and butter, marmalade and jam is a little rhyme, but again, I've put a song to it because I just think it sounds better. And it goes like this. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quiet as we can. Hello. And then you can repeat it with loud, slow, fast, high, whatever you want. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as fast as we can. Hello. I didn't want to do loud, so I skipped a few. And the goodbye version. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as high as we can. Goodbye. Etc. So, as opposed to bread and butter, marmalade and jam, let's say hello as quiet as we can. Hello. So, I don't know about you, but I think the sung version is more fun and more memorable and more engaging. Okay, another little singing practice. What have we got? Oh, come on. There we go. Michael Rosen, who wrote We're Going on a Bear Hunt. He is a legend of children's writing, and he has a poem called Hand on the Bridge. And again, he speaks it, and I can't help but read this poem with a Michael Rosen accent, so you'll forgive me. But it goes, hand on the bridge, feel the rhythm of the train. Hand on the window, feel the rhythm of the rain. Hand on your throat, feel the rhythm of your talk. Hand on your leg, feel the rhythm of your walk. Hand on the sea, feel the rhythm of the tide. Hand on your heart, feel the rhythm inside. And there's a bit more to it, but that's all I'm going to do tonight. And that's really fun, and I love Michael Rosen and I love poetry, but compare that. You let me know in the chat which you like, which you prefer. The spoken poetry version or this call and response singing. Okay, so again, I'm going to sing it, you're going to sing it back to me, and again, I'm assuming that you are, right? And it's got actions actually, so I'm going to move a little bit further back. I hope you can still hear me. and I'm going to make myself short. Right. Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me, or give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me still fine. Yes, okay. Good. Okay, so actions with this one. You can do the actions. Come on, we've been sitting in front of our computers for too long. It goes. Hand on the bridge, feel the rhythm of the train. Hand on the window, feel the rhythm of the rain. Hand on your throat, feel the rhythm of your talk. Hand on your leg, feel the rhythm of your walk. Hand on the sea, feel the rhythm of the tide. Hand on your heart, feel the rhythm inside. And then we can do 2.0. Hand on the bridge, feel the rhythm of the train. Hand on the window, feel the rhythm of the rain. Hand on your throat, feel the rhythm of your talk. Hand on your leg, feel the rhythm of your walk. Hand on the sea, feel the rhythm of the tide. Hand on your heart, feel the rhythm inside. Well, it's better in real life, I will tell you that, but I hope you get a sense of just how you can play with resources that you might come across. Books, stories, poems, or random phrases that come into your head as you're walking along, and you can just very simply put a melody to them and make a little melodic mantra or a little song or a little rhyme. And I just think, you know, for the early childhood years, singing and song is just so much more engaging than just regular speech. Of course, we have to speak sometimes, but it would be interesting. It would be an interesting challenge to see how much singing can you just put into the day, as you said, in sort of regular interactions and regular activities. Anyway, food for thought. Now, I'm not going to show you that because that's a YouTube clip that I was going to show you of Michael Rosen reading, but it's got some very obnoxious advertising in it, so we're skipping that one. So, excuse me. Singing and emotional development. Now, you're all working with children. I don't need to tell you the backdrop with children's mental health. Children younger and younger are getting affected by the mental health crisis. Got statistics on the screen. 1 in 7 children aged 4 to 17 experienced a mental health disorder in the past year. Loneliness is another factor that is affecting children as well as adults, of course. 30% of children reported feeling lonely, which is very sobering statistics. So that is the backdrop. So what tools can we give children to help with their own emotional resilience? Yes, singing is one of them. So as I mentioned earlier, and the hormonal response to singing reduces stress, soothes anxiety, and elevates our mood, regardless of what age we are. Children may not be able to articulate that they're feeling anxious or depressed or sad or frightened or worried, but they will feel it. So if you give them the tool, they can self-soothe with humming, with singing, with simple melodies. And if you see that in children, then obviously you can bring the singing to them as a part of your toolbox. Singing is a safe space for expressing emotions and thereby helping children develop emotional control and resilience. And as I said before, singing is free and accessible, and it supports mental health across all ages. So one song that I like to use as an emotional, in terms of this singing and emotional development, is the old favourite, "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands." Okay, so we flip out the emotion, right? If you're happy and you know it, you can do all kinds of things. You can sing and dance. If you're sad and you know it, sing a song. If you're sad and you know it, sing a song. If you're sad and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're sad and you know it, sing a song. If you're angry and you know it, sing it out. If you're angry and you know it, sing it out. If you're angry and you know it, then you really gotta show it. If you're angry and you know it, sing it out, etc. You can slot in different emotions and start to give children some emotional awareness and some language to use and some form of expressing that. Hang on. Yes, I have. Yes, yes. Yes, it can be quite instant, be quite almost magical. And again, this is for adults, this is for yourselves. This is for myself. I've been in situations where I'm having a meltdown, not very often, but in particular moments of struggle. And singing a song is 100% a mood reset. So please don't think it's only for children, it's for us. And that singing in the car, singing at the top of your voice in the car. Wow, isn't that therapeutic? So I'm just checking how we're going for time. Right. So singing and pro-social skills. Pro-social skills, of course, being things like empathy, kindness, sharing, cooperation, communication, respect, all these beautiful traits that don't we just wish all the adults in the world had as well. Singing fosters a sense of belonging, shared purpose and interconnectedness, provides a safe space for expressing emotions and developing emotional control and resilience. And this third point on the screen here, Australian researchers, this is the same study I spoke about earlier, where they found that young children who engaged in shared singing with their families showed higher self-esteem. They were more likely to take initiative in social settings and more likely to showed more resilience when facing challenges. And I genuinely mean it. Those are three traits that don't you just wish adults had. So if we can instill those in children through something so simple, accessible and beautiful as singing, that is a win-win, right? That's a win-win situation for all. So interestingly, this particular study, I don't know if you clocked the language there, it was actually studied children ages 2 to 3 in the home environment, okay? So a word about the home environment. The home environment, I mean, we don't know what's going on in the home environments of the children that come into family daycare. I mean, you may have some idea. You may know. It depends what sort of conversations you're having with parents. But if singing and music making isn't happening in children's homes, then it has to happen at family daycare. And because we don't know what's happening in children's homes, like basically the default would be, to make sure that children are exposed to this kind of activity. And importantly, so the research was based in children in their home environment. And what was important about that is it's shared music making delivered by a caring adult, where children's responses were noticed, remarked upon, and their contributions were welcomed. So that environment is what happens in family daycare as well. And that is different to, for example, screen-based music. So there is value in screen-based music. I'm not saying there's not, but this, the interactiveness and the responsiveness both ways is what really makes a difference. And that's where family daycare educators are so important. So keep on doing the wonderful singing and music work that you're doing, and let's do even more. Now, surprisingly, or I was a little surprised about the research that shows singing actually helps children's physical development, gross motor skills, fine motor skills, timing, and this helps later with things like learning to write. Okay, I will say it's quite unnatural to separate singing and movement. So again, the old-fashioned choir where everyone's kind of standing straight and perhaps looking at their songbook, that's very unnatural and very contrived. So moving, it's hard to sing, especially as a child, without moving. We kind of have to force people to stop moving when they're singing. The natural instinct is to move, and there's two, I guess, aspects to that. One is structured movement songs like, head, shoulders, knees and toes, these kind of things which have actions that go with them. And then there's just spontaneous, like moving around, dancing, whatever, however you want to move while you're singing. And also on the physical side, singing, of course, promotes healthy breathing using our diaphragm, and this is very beneficial for children with asthma. So if that is anyone in your care, keep singing. Aha! So here is our special guest coming. This is the interview which forms part of tonight's presentation, and this is with Lil Fee, who is another wonderful Fiona, and she has a lot of fantastic input and experience to share on her journey singing in family daycare. So I'm going to hit play and I'm going to hope that it works. Let's see. I would like to welcome Lil Fee to our conversation here this evening. And she is a wonderful music educator with a beautiful story to tell. So, Fee, would you mind just briefly introducing yourselves and telling us how you came to work with music and singing in family daycare?
Absolutely, I'd love to. I'm a lifetime musician. I've been playing music professionally for over 30 years. So, fast forward, I end up working with early years because I was going to start working with early years. So I ended up volunteering at Mount Warning Preschool where I was living, and I got mentored by one of the most amazing people, Pauline Hercombe, who got me interested in singing with children. And it has snowballed ever since. Ran into Maggie Dent. She said, "Come on tour with me and tell people your story." And I ended up touring around with Maggie and Sandy Phoenix and Dr. Louise
Wow,
Gordon
that,
and all
that
these
sounds
wonderful
like you've
people.
got such a story, such a beautiful journey to get where you are now. And that is, of
Yeah.
course, working with family daycare educators, talking about, well, not just talking about, but sharing information and the experience of singing and music. So
That's
I
it.
wonder,
And that's where my heart is now.
that's
I
beautiful.
love family daycare. Yeah,
Lovely. Well,
it's
you're
great.
in the right place then, because that's who we're
That's
talking
it.
to this evening. So I guess, Fee, I would ask you, kind of in your experience there with the kind of work you're doing with early years learning, um, why do you believe that singing is such an important part of working with that age group?
Well, I have experiential understanding. It's not just a certificate, as I said. I would say it's not just important, it's vital
Mm.
because children don't have their neural pathways till they're about 7. And if they have special needs, they may never have those pathways. So music is amazing for your brain. It goes like you've got your left and your right brain, but music goes across the corpus callosum into the whole brain. So the importance actually of music is that it should be the first port of call. We shouldn't be just speaking with children. Speaking happens in this part of your brain here, but music goes into the brain, goes all over the brain. It's like fireworks in your brain. There's a great video online by Anita Collins, and I'll get you to put a link in there to it maybe for the importance of, it says Anita Collins, the brain and music. And it's a 4-minute video, fantastic, just explains how the fireworks get turned on when we use music with children. And then if you apply that to your daily practice, wow, we're going to really see results. And that's what I've experienced. I've experienced amazing results.
Would you say the benefits of singing and the effects of singing for children in the early years is significantly different from other age groups or other stages of life?
Well, actually, you can apply music to all ages, but particularly with early years because they don't have their neural pathways yet. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I was out at Chinchilla. There was a lady there. I was doing a series of seminars, and she said, I said, what's the problem? She goes, shoes. I said, that's easy. It's time to put your shoes on, time to put your shoes on, time to put your shoes on, we're going out. So using, and then as I was explaining that, suddenly this child gets up and starts putting on their shoes. And I said, whose child's that? And she goes, that's mine.
I love it.
And so it's instant. It was an instant moment of being able to explain, you use a low tone, you use a gentle voice, you explain it 3 times and not much why. You just tell them what to do 3 times, then you say why, but not much. Because they don't need too much information, you know. My son's problem was going to the shower all his life. Couldn't get him into the shower. He was bookish, so he's always reading. And to get into that golden bubble, you need to be careful how you burst into that golden bubble, especially with children on iPads and you know, that's a really dangerous thing. If you burst into a child's bubble when they're completely engaged, all their senses are engaged on those phones, on those tablets. So you burst into that bubble gently with music. Music, as I said, goes across the corpus callosum into the whole brain. Then they're going to come out of that bubble in a gentle way.
You know, it resonates with me, really speaking my language, and it's sort of echoing what we've been, you know, discussing here this evening. Tell me, what would you say to some of the family daycare educators, or to anyone perhaps who feels not confident, who feels they, you know, can't sing, or they're just not confident using their voice? What would be your thoughts there?
My example is an educator who I worked with called Shana. I loved Shana. She was the most tone deaf and out of time person I've ever known in my life. And, you know, everyone can sing, even the bullfrog. God made the bullfrog, you know. But she got a hold of this and she realized, it's not actually that I'm in time, in tone, in pitch. It's not that. It's that my intention. And so I showed her how to sing by giving her a whole heap of songs. I've got loads of them online for free that people can download. And I showed her how to sing intentionally during her practice, you know, transitioning, moving children from one section to the other. Nappy changes, you can sing everything. And by doing that, now she's one of the best educators I've ever seen. And funnily enough, she sings in time, in tune, in pitch. She's amazing. But because she gave herself permission. And I think that's your biggest thing. Give yourself permission. You know, you see all the older educators that are wise women, our old wise women that have been educating 40 years, you know, and they've had their own families. They don't care. They will sit down with the kids, sing out of time, sing with all their hearts, and the kids love it. And you think, how? Why do they love that? And come back to the science. It's the music going across the corpus callosum into the whole brain. But you bring your joy
mm,
And every time you bring your joy to the situation, you diffuse any of
mm,
the negative
mm,
behaviors. I mean, I've got great songs about toilet training and hands. What are your hands for? You know,
mm,
are they for hitting or hurting?
mm,
All those kind of
mm.
songs. Teeth. Teeth are for smiling,
So
you
tell me,
know,
Fee,
never
like,
for biting.
would you mind sharing with us perhaps one of your favourite songs that you know is really valuable, useful, and a real go-to in the family daycare setting?
Oh, absolutely
I'm
love
sure
to.
you could share 50, but see if we can just do your one most favourite.
Hands up for clapping, hands up for patting, hands up for waving high, but never for hitting. Never. Hands up for holding, hands up for folding, and hands up for hugging, but never for hurting. Never, ever. Look at all the good things I can do with my hands. Well, I can clap and I can wave and I can pat and I can brush my teeth and feed myself. Hands are for clapping, hands are for patting, hands are for waving, but never for hitting. Never. And you can apply that same song to teeth are for smiling, but never
Yes,
for biting, you
yes,
know?
yes,
So
yes,
rewrite songs, get
yes,
an old melody and rewrite it for
yes,
the
yes,
issue
yes,
that you
yes.
need.
Yes,
Mm,
this is something we've been talking about, you know, the idea of being creative, because it's also really important that you're role modeling, isn't it? Like, rather
yes,
than saying, oh, no, I can't
absolutely.
sing and I don't know the words, that's
Mm,
not really positive messaging,
no.
you know.
No, make it up as you go along. Give yourself permission, like reinvent.
Mm,
Reinvent Farmer in the Dell's a great one to rewrite. Reinvent any of those old tunes. You've already got those tunes in you.
mm,
Think about the issue, write the song simply,
mm,
and then deliver it regularly because it's
mm,
all about repetition and
mm,
consistency. You
mm,
need to, like, I've got songs for runners, like Stop, I Don't Like It is a bullying song.
mm,
And you give the children words to say through the song.
mm,
And whenever I've introduced those songs, but if they
mm,
don't have the melody, they've at least got the sign language.
mm,
So you can
mm,
use that as well.
mm,
They can use that.
mm, mm,
So it's about empowering the children and
mm,
helping them to have the words that they need. When I wrote that song, Stop, I Don't Like It,
mm.
I wrote that for the victims of the bullies, but
Yes.
the bully ended up using it
Oh,
because
yeah.
he would go to the red zone immediately
Yes.
and he didn't have the words so
Mm,
that he didn't go to the red zone. Now with Stop, I Don't Like It, he actually had the words to say, that's triggering me, you know, I need
mm.
you to stop, please.
Ah,
So
that's
yeah,
that's a
that was a really interesting journey, that one.
yes. So many
Mm,
ways that songs can be helpful to children and educators that perhaps we don't even think about, right? As you said, you know, it can take a bit of
absolutely.
a journey of its
Mm,
own, different songs and music
yep.
in people's lives and people's experiences.
Yeah, I've used songs, emergency songs.
Mm.
So I had a little fellow, and he was. Have we got time? Can I tell
Yes,
quick
yes, just put
quick
yeah, go
story?
on. Yeah.
All right. Well, he was special needs, and he would go to the red zone in very quickly.
Mm,
I never had a problem with him. He was always great for me. I'm doing out of school hours. I was a supervisor in UKI at the out of school hours service, and he came in and he had a pair of scissors in his hand, and the father of
mm,
two other children came in, and he's looking at this little boy with the scissors, thinking, "Oh, is he going to stab me? Or where are my kids?" He was quite frightened because
yeah.
they didn't know what to do because he was volatile.
Mm,
And I just said, "Jimmy, Jimmy, bring me the scissors, please.
mm,
Come over here and bring me the scissors, please." And he just turned on a dime and came and gave me the scissors.
mm, mm,
And then went back and looked at Mr. Jones and thought, wow, isn't he big?
mm,
So what happened was I diffused that whole situation
mm,
by singing intentionally into that.
mm, mm,
Um, and no one got to get upset. Whereas if I had used words, if I
Yeah.
had said, Jimmy, bring me those scissors, he would have gone, ha ha, power, stab.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we would have had dramas. But because I sang intentionally into this child, this is the solution, honestly. And I've walked into a nursery with 15 babies. Everyone's triggering each other and they're all crying. And I'd use my ukulele. A frog went walking on a summer's day, hum, hum. You know, and just start singing.
Yeah.
And suddenly everyone would go quiet, take a breath and calm down. You do yourself as well as the educator. And it brings peace into your home. You know, music really does bring peace into your home. I would like to say, make the music yourself. You know, make your own music. Don't just rely on your iPad to do the music, on your Spotify, all that sort of stuff. There is a space for silence. There is a space for quietness, and then when they're in those silent moments, and they go into their golden bubble where they're learning, they're looking at a whatever it is, you know, and they're learning, and suddenly they'll start singing. And they start humming. And so you need to have silence for them to have those lucid moments of, that's right, it's called making space. And a big thing we've been working on lately is slowing down, slow pedagogy. You know, let's all slow down. Let's make space. Let's make silence a part of what we do.
I think,
and a gentleness.
Like,
you know,
music and song is only music and song because it's a contrast to the quiet parts, isn't it? We need both. Exactly. Where if you just have it going all the time, it just becomes noise.
Yes, that's right. And you actually don't do intentional listening. And it is important for children to be able to listen to what's going on inside their own heads as much as what's going on
as well.
You know. That's right. That's right. And to be able to listen to their carers and know, you know, which way to go, which direction to take. And but I heartily recommend people to give themselves permission to sing and give the space to kids or children, I should say, give the space to the children to make music, to make their own music. Have quality instruments too. I mean, I have one of my favourite instruments is a stick, claves. But I just got this one out of the bush. That doesn't have to be fantastic, but it's a low tone. So keep your tones low. I just want to quickly go over that. Make sure you don't have any bells, no tambourines, no high notes, no triangles, nothing high notes like that.
Okay.
And use
Fiona,
low tone shakers.
Yeah, Fee, look, I know we could just talk all evening.
I know.
You're such a fascinating character. I think we're slightly running out of time, but I'm sure this won't be the last that the New South Wales Family Daycare hears from you, because I love everything you're saying, and I think it's so relevant to what we're talking about tonight and so helpful for the educators listening. So I'm going to say a big thank you to you for coming on and sharing all your wisdom and your experience and your beautiful energy. And
absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fee. Well, how good was that? Isn't Little Fee? I know Little Fee is here in the chat room tonight, so any love, send her way in the chat. She is just a wealth of experience and fabulous anecdotes about her time working with children and family daycare educators. And as I said, I'm sure we'll hear more of Little Fee around New South Wales Family Daycare. So thank you very much. We are coming to the sort of tail end of this session. So I wanted to sort of more quickly run through a few points. And one, of course, is cultural voice and identity. So we've mentioned it in the chat. Songs are a perfect tool to celebrate heritage and home languages. I wonder, are you singing in languages other than English. So whether that's a home language of your own, or songs that you've learnt and picked up from different cultures and different languages. Yes, we do need a song for when the children are scared of toilet training. We will get there. um, so yes, just a reminder, songs help children connect with their own heritage and culture, and also by exposing children to songs from other cultures, you're instilling curiosity and again fostering empathy. So please don't be afraid to bring songs from your own personal history, your stories, your languages, if it's a language other than English, or songs that were meaningful to you, and that is also a great springboard for storytelling. So I would encourage everyone to broaden the musical world. Now, this is veering more towards music than just singing, but I thought it was an important point just to add into the session. Most children's music, kids' music, if you're looking on YouTube, Spotify, and that, it's basically pop music. It's on that model of commercial pop music, which is a lot of fun. But gee, we can broaden children's musical palettes, and again broaden their emotional language, and encourage curiosity by bringing music from other traditions, other styles, other genres. There's no reason why children can't enjoy classical music. It doesn't always have to be pop music. What you love, share it with the children. This is developing, musical intelligence, a curiosity, and it does offer children, again, different kind of emotional spaces to be in. I don't know if people are doing that already. I wonder, just quickly, are people using, opera, yes, I was going to say, are people listening to orchestral music or instrumental music? I live opera. Yes, I hope you're sharing that with the kids in your with the children. My apologies. We play Jazz Cafe. Yes. So just a little reminder: if you're not doing it, please do, and if you are, keep doing it or do it more. I was going to share a few tracks to listen to, but we've run out of time. These are in your booklet. So again, just a couple of ideas to add to your own or to get you started. And as we touched on in the interview with Lil Fee, moving away from screen-based songs, singing live or using audio only. So if you are using YouTube, it is free. I know that. So put it so that you can't see the screen, even if you're still listening to the music. Yes, I don't want to go on about the evils of screen exposure. I think we're aware that, it can certainly be damaging for too much. So embrace your own voice. As Little Fee said, give yourself permission. And live music or audio only format rather than an audio visual format is the way to go. I want to add quickly a note about being mindfully present. We're all stressed, we're all multitasking. That includes adults, and children feel the ramifications of that as well. And we are all encouraged to live more in the moment, or at least find times when we can be in the moment. And singing is a perfect tool to get us there, because singing uses 10 different areas of our brain. Again, that's what Little Fee was talking about. So many different areas of our brain are engaged in singing: language and memory, emotional processing, pattern recognition, auditory processing. And what that means is your mind is fully engaged in the task at hand, i.e. singing, and you cannot be ruminating or stressing about other things. And this is a beautiful reset for your brain. So singing is the perfect way to be mindfully present in the moment at any age. And it's fun. So I want to leave you with these words. Remember, your voice is enough. It's good enough. It's not about perfection and performance. Singing as a human trait throughout our evolution is about participation and connection. The children in your care will remember the feeling you gave them, not the perfection of your pitch. Let go of the pressure to perform. Sing like you speak, with intention, warmth and care. And I have no doubt that all you amazing, hardworking, beautiful family daycare educators are going through your days interacting with the children in your care with intention, warmth and care. So we have hashtag bring back singing. Look at this beautiful quote here. Before a child speaks, it sings. Before they write, they paint. As soon as they stand, they dance. Art is the basis of human expression. So we've been talking about singing. As I said, this also applies to visual arts, to dance. It's not about perfection. It's actually a fundamental part of our humanity. And so beneficial across so many areas of our lives. So if to continue this conversation beyond the webinar, I know there is a Facebook group for the family daycare educators. So please pop in the Facebook group, use the hashtag bring back singing. And if you're doing something fun with the children in your care, if you have a song about toilet training, if you have a nice, opera track or something that you've done or shared that has gone well, any resources or any experiences, please share them so we can all learn from each other, because this is an ongoing thing. It's not like, yeah, I got that and I know it. We can always get new inspiration and new ideas. Implementing singing daily, we kind of went through this. So yeah, creating a rhythm of singing, build your own toolkit of like go-to songs, and then you can add to it again, perhaps drawing on the Facebook group and ideas from other educators. Yep. All children sing until they're not told to. Don't be that person that says to a child, "Oh, you're not singing right." Don't be that person that's going to set that child up for an uncomfortable ride. Please, embrace all the perfections, both with yourself and with the children around you, and just use the singing to have fun, to connect and to express. It's really as simple as that. So with about 3 minutes left in the webinar, we did have the option to put some questions in the Q&A, which there are a couple. There will be a recording. It will be put up on the Family Daycare website. I'm not sure the time frame for that, but it will be. Any suggestions for Aboriginal songs? The one that is my go-to is Inane Gupuana, Inane Gupuana, ula, 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 ipi. And if you look at the resource Mama Lisa, she has a whole bunch of beautiful songs from different cultures, and she actually has the backstory of that song, which may not be what you think it is. So it's quite interesting, again, to get the story behind some of these songs. So that song is called Inanay, Inanay, I-N-A-N-A-Y, Inanay, yes. Problem with singing is children start to be very loud and screeching at the same time as singing. It's probably because, well, firstly, sometimes they've just got to let it out, right? Sometimes you've just got to let the sound out. But it's also perhaps they're not used to it and they're getting like really overexcited. So maybe bringing singing in as a more regular thing, as it will bring them to expect it and to know it's not something that they need to get, overexcited about, unless they're just feeling excited, in which case bring some voice and movement. And movement can dissipate that energy. But yes, sometimes they will be very loud. Yes, that is happening often. Children will be loud. Children, singing can stir up, crazy emotions as well. And it seems to me, again, it's if it becomes something that's routine and just part of the daily process, that may dissipate. That would be my thoughts on that one there, Pari. So we have answered the questions even. Yes. This is, of course, Thank you to New South Wales Family Daycare for inviting me here, and thank you to all you wonderful people for taking time out of your evening at the end of a work day to listen to what we have to say, exchange ideas, exchange chat, and it's been an absolute joy. I thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Please keep singing. I would love to hear how it's going. Thanks a lot. I'm going to finish up now, and I wish you all the very best.